This feature, The Future of Work, is funded by the News Reporting Scheme.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Future of Work on Clare FM. Over the past 11 weeks, we've travelled all over Clare to find out what the future holds for those in or seeking employment in the county. We've heard how remote and hybrid working for some had begun before global events forced people down that route and is likely here to stay. Business owners have told us about the struggles they face securing and keeping staff. Entrepreneurs have started small businesses in the most remote areas of Clare with great success. We've also seen how Ireland is a very attractive prospect for overseas workers coming here filling gaps in industry and health services. The subject of AI popped up several times, with some expressing concern for the future of certain jobs, with others praising its benefits. So what about the future? Training people for hospitality in particular is something that could be improved upon, according to Lahinch-based hotel owner Michael Vaughan.
We have got fixated in this country over a number of years on third level education, getting the degree. And if you look, and I've sat on the board of the Atlantic Technical University when it was GMIT, and we had up to 30% of failure rate, our students departing because they just couldn't hack the system. You had fellas who wanted to be a bar manager. They went in, ended up doing a level 7, but they only wanted to know, how do you manage a cellar? How do you pull pints? They were being asked to do statistics, accounting, all kinds of other things that they weren't academically available for, but they could have been great bar managers, but they got disaffected and left. And if you look at it now, we have trained more people in the country at level 7, and they're doing very basic jobs, and they may feel that they're overqualified for those jobs, or they may feel that they somehow or other their career didn't take off. But what we need to do is celebrate the craft, celebrate the electrician. The electrician and the plumber will be one of the most highly paid professions in this country before long. Already in Frankfurt, my friends are telling me that it costs €300 to get a plumber to call out to do a job for you in Frankfurt. The education and training boards, which is the old VECs, they are nearly in every town and village of the country. They have, by and large, got a great hold on what community life is all about. And we need craftspeople, we need tradespeople. Would you believe there hasn't been a tiler apprenticed in 10 years? We're about to lose our butcher, our craft butcher, where the last course of it is running currently in Cork and one in Sligo. It's going to be down to one course, one butchery. We have in the hotel business a great opportunity to do apprenticeship. We have the National Chef, Commie Chef Apprenticeship. We have 200 youngsters on that who are loving what they're doing. We could have 500 to 1,000 of them if the system for paying for the apprenticeship was different, because it's just set up so wrong. I have an idea for an apprenticeship in a duty manager, which is a lovely job in a hotel, facilities and accommodation management and restaurant management, where people could come in and get to level 6 and have a career in this and be paid for by the employer in the state. And I'm 3 years trying to get it going. So we fixated on third level and STEM is very good. But if you look at STEM at the moment, AI is going to be doing a lot of those jobs in STEM. And our investment in STEM and where we've educated engineers and accountants and solicitors and lawyers, AI is taking over those jobs at a huge rate. Young graduates coming out into graduate programs like in Arthur Andersen or any of those big companies, they're not hiring at the moment. They've dropped them. The banks have dropped their graduate programs. But hospitality has an endless supply of meaningful jobs that are getting better paid by the minute, will be better paid in the future as well, guaranteed. And I think we need to focus on the basics.
Many people, Michael, are very afraid of AI. Maybe it's the fear of the unknown. Then Elon Musk recently talking about all the jobs that will be taken over by AI. Are you happy that there are a certain number of jobs in the hospitality industry that cannot and will not be taken over by AI?
I saw a program on robotics a number of years ago that showed a cocktail station in a Japanese hotel with a one-armed bandit, for want of a better word, a robot, making these cocktails. We didn't see the back end of it, but that was worrying. Then I saw a coffee shop with a fully automated barista, and it seemed to be operating really well. Yesterday, I was looking at a video of a fast food outlet in America that's been tried. Basically, it was a laboratory for a big fast food chain. Every single element of the production of the beef burger was completely robotized. It was just incredible. There wasn't one human intervention from the start to the finish of that. So there are areas where robotics and AI are going to come into huge play. In tourism hospitality, the big things, we're seeing AI in the back end. We're seeing how certain functions, you're seeing the creative elements, the advertising department. We have practically got a seamless reservation system in hotels now where you go online. Even now they're saying that you can go onto AI and Pat Flynn could ask ChatGPT, will you book a room in Lahinch in the best hotel? And they'll come back and say, your room is booked in Vaughan Lodge. Well, it could be the coast as well. It's a good hotel. But you know what I mean? The same could happen for a restaurant and all that. So this is the level of integration we're seeing. But where is key for us is the human touch, the human experience. That is hospitality. That cannot be replicated. We have also seen the language with AI. It's still quite noticeable that it's not in the vernacular, and that will be the case. It's still noticeable that it can answer emails for us. We see that. It can automatically answer emails. I dictate my letters now in through AI in Outlook, and they come out pretty okay. We're all doing it with our phone. But the service and the delivery of service, there will be hotels that will be fully automated. We already have hotels with automatic check-ins, faceless check-ins. We have robots now that are starting to hoover bedrooms, taking room service, bringing your luggage up. Even now they're trialling robots to make beds and clean bathrooms. But if we continue and want to continue to market Ireland as the destination it's always been, face-to-face, the handshake, the Céad Míle Fáilte, cannot be outsourced to AI. So I'm very confident that at least 60% of the roles in hotels will continue to be customer facing, but we will be hiring and paying more. We will be looking for individuality, we'll be looking for well-trained people, but we'll be looking for your personality shining through more than anything.
Going forward, AI is something we'll all see a lot more of, and it will most likely impact some industries more than others. While it may be difficult for some sectors to do so, Deirdre Macbeth believes that those working in the area of digital and creative design are embracing AI. Deirdre is Regional Development Officer with the Institute of Designers in Ireland.
I do find that a lot of creatives and designers, though, are actually quite optimistic and nearly seeing it as an opportunity, because I think we genuinely know now that true creativity and the ability for an individual to have an insight into a business, to see a trend within a business, to look into the future and see possibilities for a business can only really be done by an individual. And what we're seeing within the creative industries is more an opportunity within that, because their skills will become even more valuable. We can see already with LinkedIn posts or social media posts, it's all starting to sound the same, it's all starting to look the same, and we're going to have to rely even more on individuals and creative people with an insight and with a point of view and with an ability that nobody else has to create something unique for your business. So it's a challenge in a way, because I do see a lot of business owners who may not understand the power of design and the power of investing in a creative partner. They think, oh my God, I can do this for free, and I'll just get an AI to mock up a logo for me. Within 6 months, a year, we're all going to start seeing the same, as they say, AI slop. We're going to start seeing generic and homogenized content coming out, and I think the swing will be back to briefing and hiring professionals who are fully trained and fully immersed in their industry and talented at design and talented at using the programs. So it's a tricky part for now, but I think it'll go pretty quickly where businesses will realise I actually need a professional on this.
Is it the case, I wonder, that people will be afraid to get into the industry because of challenges like AI?
I can see your point that, why would I go into that industry? At the end of the day, though, you're always going to have creative people. You're going to have people coming out of school when they're 18, and if they're creatively inclined but want a commercial career, then design and digital creative industries are the way to go. They will always be growing, because we are moving into a digital economy. We live in an attention economy. There will be jobs in those areas. What I see happening, though, is that young people, because roles quote unquote jobs and roles in businesses, they're starting to become trickier to get. Their CVs are being funneled through AI. So jobs in multinationals seem to be harder for young people to get. So what you're finding is they're going towards entrepreneurship, and we're seeing that more and more, especially in Clare. It's all the younger ones now who have their own business and they're working freelance or they're working in collectives of other young people. The only barrier there is, okay, we need constant churn of business development to feed towards these people. But from what I'm seeing is, yes, it may look at the outset that it's going to be difficult to get a job, but what we're seeing is people are swinging to setting up their own businesses, going out on their own, being quite entrepreneurial. So that's where I see young people going towards within these industries.
One area where there appears to be a significant demand for staff is in healthcare. With the implementation of planned health policies and workforce reforms, it's expected there will be an average annual growth rate required of approximately 1.4 to 2% up to 2040 for certain professions. Dr. James Ring is CEO of TTM Healthcare Group based in Ennis, County Clare.
There's huge demand right across the board, and I think this is really important for people if they're listening to this at home and thinking about a career in healthcare. I often think healthcare professionals, it's more vocational than just normal jobs because it's such a difficult role but such a rewarding role at the other side of it. And whether it's someone who has very, very high levels of qualifications like medical doctors or nurses with degrees and masters and whatnot, or it's more roles like MTAs, which is multitask assistants, and that could be anything from cleaners and people who are serving food in canteens or into hospital beds to healthcare assistants. There's various levels of qualifications needed. So for example, some people listening to this might think, I'm not that academic, I don't know if I could get into this world, but I have a passion or a love or a want to try and help and care for people. There's plenty of roles for people who may not be academically gifted, but have that passion and desire to work in this industry. So don't let anything put you off. Those of us who are more academic, there's roles, we know what they are. They're the nurses, they're physiotherapists, they're speech and language therapists, doctors, whatever. The beauty of healthcare is I think there's something for everyone. But I think the core facet of it all, it has to be the people that I engage with, the people that I meet. One thing they all share, regardless of background, regardless of academia, regardless of the life they live. The people who work in healthcare really care about just trying to help patients. Because you know what? There'll come a day every one of us will need it. And all I always say to my people out here on the floor of TTM is, our job is to look after the people who look after patients. We have to mind our runners. We have to get the best possible ones, make sure they have the right environment and what they need to go out and go into these healthcare facilities and look after people like me and you.
We see situations where a hospital might be short of staff, maybe a private hospital or a public hospital. Do you ever struggle to get staff? Can you get as many staff as you want to fill the gaps?
That's a tricky question because there's lots of roles that need filling across the sector. You get lots of applications in from everywhere, all over this country, all over the world. But the truth of the matter is, it's all about patient safety. So actually, when you filter it down, you don't end up with a huge amount of people that you would feel comfortable putting them out to work. And that's where the real challenge for us is finding very, very highly skilled and compliant people who we would say, we would stand over putting them out to work because we believe that they're of a certain quality and standards for patient safety and care. The big answer, I suppose, there's loads of people applying. But the shorter answer and the more detailed answer is yes, but they're not at a level or a quality. So we're always struggling to find the right number of quality candidates. And that will always be the eternal battle, I think, in agency work.
Could it be the case, James, as well, that there could be suitably qualified people out there who don't want to work in the mainstream system, in the HSE or in a private hospital, but might not be aware that this option is available to them?
Oh, I'd say there is. Or don't know how to get into it. You know, they maybe have heard about it because, to be fair, most people, if they're working in, take Ennis General down the road there, right? So in Ennis, you're going to have a blend of agency staff and full-time HSE staff, right? So they'll know, like one will know the other side in terms of, because they work side by side seamlessly. I think probably a lot of people might think, is it the right time to move into agency? How do I move into agency? Do I walk down the road to Ballybailey Business Park and call into TTM, which they can, or do they apply online, or what way is it? So I think the most important thing is, I would say to people who are thinking about agency work, if they're working in healthcare settings and are thinking about it, just talk to your colleagues. And if it is the right thing for you at the right stage of your life because of whatever challenges or circumstances you find yourself in, then consider it. If not, stay full-time and keep working. And then for younger people, I would say, think about agency as a stepping board to build your experience and to allow you get some skin in the game so that you will see then what it's like to work in healthcare facilities, and hopefully when openings come in that healthcare facility, you might be first in line to get that job on a full-time basis. So it's a good way for people to either build their experience or a lifestyle choice. Like what I would say to anyone interested in getting into healthcare, the demand is huge. There's buckets of jobs. So you'll never be looking for work, that's for sure. I think the key question comes down to decide what kind of lifestyle you want and let work then suit you. So if you are someone who values full-time work, who values that security, that structure, that regular income, then go and work full-time in one of the healthcare providers anywhere in this country. There's demand everywhere. If you're someone who values work-life balance, flexibility, or you're at a stage of life where you need that level of flexibility, or you don't need to work full-time anymore, then I would strongly consider coming and working for an agency like TTM.
That was Dr. James Ring, CEO of TTM Healthcare Group, based in Ennis, County Clare. We also heard from Michael Vaughan, owner of Vaughan Lodge Hotel in Lahinch, and Deirdre Macbeth, Regional Development Officer with the Institute of Designers in Ireland.
This feature, The Future of Work, is funded by the News Reporting Scheme.